Howdy Ags, it's Aggie Land Central coming at you with another Aggie video. Now, big week coming up. Big week coming up. Sam Houston State, Saturday, September 3rd. Bunch of questions coming in. I know there's a press conference later on today. Who's Jimbo going to name as a starting QB? We're going to cover that today. What's the defense going to look like? Defensive line, are we going to have any of those big 5-stars starting on September 3rd? We'll cover that today as well. And finally, is Devon Achane a Heisman candidate? I think you guys know the answer to that question. So first, quarterbacks. I know it's what everybody's been talking about for the past 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months since the season ended last year. Who is going to be A&M's starting quarterback in 2022? Here, we got 2 guys. I know we have technically 3, but I'm just going to cover Haynes and Max in this video. So, Haynes, been here for 3 years, knows Jimbo's offense, the fastest guy out of the 2, probably has the highest ceiling out of the 2. I would probably say more. I guarantee that he has a higher ceiling than Max Johnson. No knock on Max. But what can Haynes bring to the offense that Max can't? Well, obviously the legs. Obviously that 4.4 speed or 4.5 speed, whatever that 40-yard dash time was for him coming out of high school. He can extend plays. Now, also think about it this way. You have Devon Achane back there. You have Moose Muhammad on the slot, Evan Stewart, Chris Marshall, Chase Lane, and then any of the tight ends. Just pick one out of the 3 that came in, and also you still have Blake Smith. And then adding another weapon on the ground with Haynes King. That's a dangerous offense to go up against. I don't care what you have to say about the past. That's a dangerous offense if Haynes can put it all together. Now, Haynes, of course, coming into this year, has more interceptions than touchdowns. Now, granted, it's only 3 picks to 2 touchdowns, but that is something that we need to look at. I don't think the Kent State game last year really defined Haynes King. I think he was warming up. I think he had his first game jitters. He's playing in front of 100,000+ people. And 2 of those interceptions weren't his fault. So, covering Max. Has the most SEC experience. Hands down. Threw for 28 touchdowns last year and 6 picks, if I'm not mistaken, at LSU. And that LSU team was bad. Not saying they didn't have a lot of talent around him, but they weren't coached very well. You could obviously see that they mailed it in halfway through the season last year, and even in the COVID year, they were pretty bad. I think a lot of people are sleeping on Max. I don't think many people give Max that edge or the respect that he deserves. I mean, 28 touchdowns and 6 interceptions on a team that's kind of given up and only having Kayshon Boutte, that's pretty dang good. Max, obviously the veteran, will have to come in and prove that he knows the offense, which Haynes has that advantage in. But Max is he's an athlete. He's an athlete. I mean, people don't think he can run. Think he's more of a pocket presence, but we saw in the spring game that he's very much capable of running. Very, very much capable of running. So, coming down to it, what's the answer? Haynes King, Max Johnson. I'm going to go with Max Johnson. And I know that's crazy. I know a lot of people are leaning Haynes. I know that Haynes has the higher ceiling. I know all of this. But Max has that veteran capability to come in and just be a game manager. He has all the talent in the world around him. He doesn't have to do too much. As long as he can keep the interceptions down, which he has proven to do, and manage the game, get the ball out to those talented skill positions, and let them do all the work for him. I think that Jimbo's going to come out today and make a shocker and announce Max Johnson as his quarterback. Now, I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for that. And if it's Haynes, I'm all for it. I'm all for Haynes. Let's get it and go. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's Connor. I don't care if it's Haynes. I don't care if it's Max. I just want a guy that goes out there and balls. And I think all 3 of these guys can do that, but I don't think Connor is going to really be in the running. I think it's only going to come down to 2, and that's Haynes King and Max Johnson. Now, going back to the defense. We lost 4 starters last year. Tyree Johnson, Jaden Peavy, DeMarvin Leal, and Michael Clemens. 4 pretty good players, being sarcastic there. Very, very talented players that played a lot of time for A&M, and that's going to be hard to replace. Now, who are we going to replace them with? Obviously, Fidel Diggs is going to be on the edge. He has that speed, that size. I don't know if you guys have seen him lately. He looks ginormous. Definitely glad I don't have to block him. You have Isaiah Rakes. You have McKinley Jackson inside. 2 players who played a lot last year, especially in that Alabama game. I don't know if you guys saw it, but in those last drives on Alabama, when Alabama was on offense, Isaiah Rakes was getting double-teamed and was still disrupting the backfield, making bouncy plays out to the side, putting pressure on Bryce Young. He's a huge guy. He has some speed, and he can sit there and hold his ground and also make if he has to pull a double team on him, then that's opening up for Fidel Diggs. That's opening up for McKinley Jackson. That's opening it up for Shamar Stewart. That's opening it up for any of those guys that are on the edge, on the inside, and then not even mentioning the linebackers, Antonio Johnson at nickel. It could just, in the way DJ Durkin's going to be doing it, he's going to be sending people from everywhere. And if you have to double team one guy every play, or at least majority of the plays, that's opening up a blindside shot on your quarterback or on your halfback. Now, let's see. What else were we going to go on this? The big 5-star freshman that came in. Who's going to start? Who's going to be involved September 3rd against Sam Houston State? Pick from the bunch. Pick from the bunch. Whoever you want. Just put them in there. I'm kidding, of course. But I think Walter Nolan obviously has to play a big part. I think he's a slim 300 pounds. He doesn't look like he's 310, 325, whatever he is. I know he said in high school he was closer to 350. He doesn't look it. He looks very slim, but he's very strong. Now, imagine this for me. Let's picture this real quick. You have a fresh, let's say they have groups of 4. So you have the starters, McKinley Jackson, Fidel Diggs, Isaiah Rakes. Let's just throw out maybe a Shamar Stewart or a Delier. Then you pull those guys out after they get a little bit tired. Then you have Walter Nolan. Let's put a Delier in that first group. Let's put Shamar Stewart in the second group. So you have Shamar Stewart, Walter Nolan, Anthony Lucas. Just plug whoever you want at the end of that. I mean, you could mix these guys in. I can sit there and name guys all day. We could just switch them out. But having just a fresh rotation of these ginormous beings, or giant humans, as another school likes to call them, I think that all of these guys could play on September 3rd. I think that if looking at Terry Price and what him and Elijah Robinson, I apologize, want to do with this defensive line, I think they could just have these guys rotating out and just keep them fresh, which wears down that offensive line because every time they're playing somebody, they're completely fresh. So I think, but if I had to pull, let's say, 3 guys that I think are going to play on that defensive line that came in that 2022 freshman class, I'd have to say Walter Nolan, Shamar Stewart, Anthony Lucas. Now, what was that third one? Oh, yeah, Anthony Lucas, Shamar Stewart, Walter Nolan. Okay, I covered them all. Sorry about that. Now, going into September 3rd, what are these skill positions going to be looking like? Evan Stewart is the man. He is the man on campus. He does not need an introduction. He will be wide receiver 1 coming in. You'll have Aniyah Smith. You'll have Chase Lane. Rotate guys in again. I mean, they're so deep in depth at all of these positions. And regardless of the 2022 class, you still got Yul Keith Brown. You still got, you got Noah Thomas. He came in with the 2022 class. You have so many guys that are so deep in these positions that you can just rotate these guys in. A&M's had top 10 recruiting classes for the past 5-6 years. So I think we're excited about September 3rd, Ags. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good season. So remember, Ags, please subscribe to the channel. I appreciate you all that have been leaving comments, been leaving likes, been watching these videos, and I will be seeing you guys very, very soon. Remember, always, Giga Maggies.